Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Today is June 19th. We have an all-star voting update, new home run derby rules, and so much more. Let's talk about it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, everybody. My name is Steven. This is the middle of the order. How are we doing today, folks, ladies and gentlemen? It is the World Cup. It is still going on, but more eyes shift to the baseball season as both the NHL and NBA playoffs have wrapped up nicely. Congratulations to your Carolina Hurricanes and your New York Knicks. Stay safe out there in New York. The videos that I see online are absolutely absurd and scary at times. But baseball is into the mix, and now that we are past those playoffs and those finals, it really feels more and more like the proper baseball season. We're getting to the halfway point in the season. The All-Star game and the All-Star break is a month away, basically. And little than you know, the trade deadline is about, 45 days away? So you've got maybe 3 or 4 weeks still to make an impact here for your favorite baseball team to see if they're going to be buyers or sellers at this year's deadline, which we know can be a make or break in the difference in your postseason run. But with that being said, we got a lot to talk about in today's episode, so we should start with our series recap. Blue Jays in Boston to take on the Red Sox. Davis Schneider and Andres Jimenez hit back-to-back home runs, and George Springer gets a hold of one for his career home run number 300. Congratulations, George Springer. Blue Jays win it 6-1. Blue Jays then go on with a bullpen day that goes through 7 of their pitchers to blank the Red Sox in a 3-0 victory. And in the last game, Vlad's home run drought is over as he goes deep over the monster, his 4th of the year. Nathan Lucas joins him with a home run. The Savage was pitching well into the 8th inning before giving up back-to-back home runs to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Caleb Durbin as the Red Sox tie this game. But in the 9th, Brandon Valenzuela delivers a go-ahead RBI double off of Aroldis Chapman as the Blue Jays win it 4-3 and sweep the Red Sox. White Sox and Yankees, Spencer Jones, Ben Rice, Paul Goldschmidt, and Jose Caballero all get a hold of one. 12-2 Yankees in the opener. Then in game 2, Bellinger goes deep, Goldschmidt goes deep again, Jazz Chisholm goes deep. Colson Montgomery for the White Sox has a 2-homer game, grabbing 4 of the 5 White Sox RBIs, but the Yankees hold on to a 10-5 victory, and in the last game, Montgomery homers again, his 20th of the year. Ryan McMahon ties it with a home run of his own, but in the 8th inning, Andrew Benintendi gets the pinch hit go-ahead grand slam as the White Sox win it 5-1 to avoid the sweep. Twins and Rangers now. Josh Bell hits a 3-run home run. Byron Buxton a solo shot. Twins win it 4-2 in the opener. It's all Minnesota in game 2. Trevor Larnage, Cody Clemens both going deep. A 5-run 4th helps seal it as Twins take a 12-2 victory. And in the last game, it's Brooks Lee. It's Trevor Larnage again. It's Ryan Kreidler who go deep. Minnesota wins it 9-3 as they sweep the Rangers. Tigers and Astros, Colt Keith have a day, hitting not 1, not 2, but 3 homers for Colt Keith, bringing up to 4 on the year. Kevin McGonigal and Spencer Torkelson both joined him in homering. 9-3 Tigers the final. In game 2, the Astros come back with 3 runs in the 8th as they take the lead, going from down 1 to up 2, holding it for a 4-2 victory. Jeremy Pena homers in the 3rd game. Tigers get 2 solo shots from Kerry Carpenter and Kevin McGonigal, but that is all they could muster up. The Astros hold on. They win it 4-2 as they take 2 of 3 from the Tigers. Pirates and A's now. Nick Kurtz, a 2-homer day. Jeff McNeil joins him with a blast as the A's roll past the Pirates in an 11-2 victory. The A's put up a 4 spot in the 1st in game 2. Zach Geloff homers later, but here come the Buccos. Brian Reynolds, a 2-homer game. Brandon Lau, his 18th of the year. The Pirates come back to win it 6-5 the final, and in their match, Ryan O'Hearn goes deep. Marcell Ozuna goes deep. The Pirates score 5 in the 7th to blow it open. They win it 12-4, taking 2 of 3 from the A's. Orioles and Mariners here now. Cal comes up clutch with a go-ahead 2-run single in the 7th. That ends up being the difference in a 3-1 Mariners win. Good to have you back, Cal Raleigh. In Game 2, Gunnar and Jackson Holiday both go deep. The Oilers win it 5-3, and in the rematch, the Mariners score all the runs in the first inning as they pitch their way to the win. 3-0 Mariners the final. They take 2 of 3. Giants and Braves now. This first game took 2 days to finish. It finishes on the 17th. Baldwin hits the furthest home run of the year so far, hitting one 473 feet. But here come the Giants. Rafael Devers, Young Ho Lee go back-to-back in the 5th. Willie Adames homers later on as they take a 7-2 victory. And in the next game, Willie Adames homers again. Luis Arias and Bryce Eldridge go back-to-back. All 3 of those homers come in the 2nd inning. Giants hold on to a 7-5 win. And then rain in the last game means a game to be made up. This one going to August 31st. So as it stands now, the Giants get the 2-game mini sweep over the Braves. Marlins and Phillies now. Gabriel Rincones Jr. gets his first ever career MLB hit, which just so happens to be his first career MLB home run. Big moment for him and his family. JT Realmuto going deep as well as the Phillies take a 7-0 victory. Then you got Brandon Marsh, Alec Boehm, and Kyle Schwarber who all go deep in an 8-2 Phillies win. But the Marlins bounce back in the last game. Kyle Stowers, a 2-homer game. Owen Casey, Joe Mack, Jacob Marcy all going deep as well. It's 12-4 Marlins to avoid the sweep. Royals and Nationals now. The Nash score 5 in the 5th, capped off with a 3-run home run from Dylan Cruz, leading to a 7-3 Nationals win. Nats in Game 2, it's a 3-3 game, but Curtis Mead breaks that tie. A 3-run home run in the 7th helps the Nats to a 6-4 victory. And in the last game, it's a home run frenzy from the Royals. John Rave, Carter Jensen, Lane Thomas, Michael Massey, 4 Kansas City home runs lead them to a 6-2 victory and avoiding the sweep against the Nationals. Mets and Reds now. Eugenio Suarez, what a day. He homers twice in 2 innings, a 2-run shot in the first and then a grand slam in the second. The Reds score 9 runs in the first 2 innings. J.J. Bidet hits a 3-run home run later on. It's 12-0 Reds, the final in that one. Sal Stewart, Spencer Steer, both going deep. The double S names there, SSSS. 5-3 Reds as they take that game, but the Mets pour it on in the last game. They score 4 runs in the 5th to go up 7 runs in this game. They hold on to a 9-1 victory and avoid the sweep to Cincinnati. Guardians and Brewers now. Bryce Terang, Garrett Mitchell both hit solo shot home runs, enough for a 2-1 Brewers victory. Then in the next game, Yelich and Jackson Chourio both go deep for the Brewers. The Guardians made it a close game at one point with a grand slam from Daniel Schneemann, but the Brewers roll on to win it 9-4. But in the last game, it's David Fry, it's Kyle Manzardo, and it's Travis Bazzana, who all go deep for the Guardians in a 4-2 victory to avoid the sweep. Padres and Cardinals now. Dustin May have a game, and he goes the distance as well. A complete game shutout with only 1 hit and 1 walk, near perfection in a 3-0 Cardinals win, who then go on to score 2 in the 2nd in Game 2. They add 1 more in the 5th, which ends up being the difference in a 3-2 Cardinals win. But in the last game, the Padres would double their lead in the 9th with help from Jackson Merrill as he goes deep. It's 6-1 Padres as they avoid the sweep from the Cardinals. Rockies and Cubs now. PCA hits a leadoff home run. The Rockies had the lead late, but on a day where Pete Crow Armstrong hits for the cycle, the Cubs step up. Pedro Ramirez ties it in the 9th with an RBI single that loads the bases, and then Matt Shaw ends up with the walk. The Cubs win it in walk-off fashion, 5-4 Cubbies. In Game 2, PCA another leadoff home run. He has 3 of them in the last 4 games. He's been on a roll in the month of June. However, TJ Rumfield hits a go-ahead home run in the 4th. The Rockies hold the Cubs from there as they take a 5-2 victory. And in the last game, the Cubs score 7 in the 2nd, including a Dansby Swanson home run. PCA homers again because, of course, he does. The Rockies end up making it close, though, with home runs from Hunter Goodman, Kyle Karros, and a 2-homer game from Sterling Thompson, who hit his first and second career MLB home runs in this one. The Cubs hold on, though, 8-6 and take 2 of 3 from the Rockies. Angels and D-backs now. Mike Trout and Donovan Walton homer for the Angels. Pavin Smith goes deep for the D-backs as Perdomo drives in the difference. 4-3 Arizona, the final. In Game 2, Zach Neto, Mike Trout both go deep as the Angels blank the D-backs. 7-0 the final. And for the rematch, Zach Neto, a leadoff home run. The D-backs answer, though. They score 5 runs in the second, including a grand slam from Corbin Carroll. The D-backs roll on to win it 8-1, taking 2 of 3 from the Halos. And in the last series, we've got the Rays and the Dodgers. Dodgers down by 3. Kyle Tucker, a game-tying 3-run home run, changes this one. And then Miggy Rojas breaks the tie with a go-ahead home run in the 7th. Dodgers end up winning it 4-3. In Game 2, there was only 1 run in this one, and it came off the bat of Shohei Ohtani. His home run is the only run in a 1-0 Dodgers win. And then in the last game, Freeman flips the script in the 6th, a go-ahead 2-run home run, bringing the Dodgers from down 1 to up 1. As this is the difference, it finishes it off. The Dodgers win it 5-4 as they sweep the Rays, and that's your series recap. All right, now let's get to the game of the week, and we're going to Wrigley Field. Chicago Cubs, they're up against the Colorado Rockies. This is the third and final game of the series here, and it starts in the bottom of the second where the Cubs started scoring and did not stop. Matt Shaw picks up the first 2 runs on an RBI triple, or a 2 RBI triple. Then Carson Kelly delivers with an RBI double to make it 3-0 before Dansby Swanson hits his 8th home run of the season, putting the Cubs up 5, but they aren't done. The inning continues. Seiya Suzuki doubles in a run. It's 6-0. Alex Bregman a sac fly. It's 7-0 Cubs. They put on a hammer in that one. But top 3, you got a nice moment here for the Rockies. It's Sterling Thompson, home run number 1 on the career for him. Big moment for him. And it gets the Rockies on the board 7-1. But the bottom of the 4th, the Cubs get that run right back on a home run from Pete Crow Armstrong. His 15th of the year, his 5th in his last, I think, 6 games. He's been on an unreal stretch right now. And the Cubs are back to that 7-run lead. Top 5, it's Sterling Thompson again. There's nothing better than hitting your first career Major League home run than hitting your second career Major League home run, all in the same game. It is 8-2. We go on now, top of the 8th inning. The Rockies come back just a little bit more. TJ Rumfield with a ground out that scores a run. Then Hunter Goodman connects for a 2-run shot, his 21st of the year. One of the best power hitting catchers in our game. And all of a sudden, that 8-2 lead is now cut in half. It's 8-5. We go into the top of the 9th where Kyle Karros hits his 4th home run of the season. It's a solo shot, making it a 2-run game. But with down to their last 2 outs, the Rockies cannot get any more. The Cubs hold on to an 8-6 victory and the series win over the Rockies. A very good game featuring a big inning as well as the first 2 home runs for Sterling Thompson. The Rockies made it interesting late. That is your game of the week. And let's get into the baseball news here. And we're going to start by talking about the All-Star voting update. It dropped as soon as I finished recording the episode on Monday. So we're going to go over it today. But I'm sure plenty of you have seen it and have your thoughts. I have my thoughts as well. We're going to start in the NL here. So right now the top 2 catchers are Drake Baldwin and Will Smith. Drake Baldwin, one of the 7 players across all of baseball that have received over 900K votes. He is at 972,813. Will Smith about 300K behind him. The difference between Will Smith and JT Realmuto is about 200K. And Realmuto, Contreras, Goodman, Kelly, Liam Hicks, all some of the top vote getters there. I think Liam Hicks should be much higher than 7th overall. He's been great for the Marlins. At first base, you've got Freddie Freeman at 870K, while Matt Olson's at 802K, so it's a bit of a gap there. Bryce Harper is at 651K before you have this fall off with Jake Bauers at 207. Alec Burleson, Spencer Horwitz, Ildemaro Vargas, some of the other vote getters there for the first baseman. For second baseman, you have Ozzie Albies, who's at 517K. Bryson Stott at 400K. Then you got Bryce Terang, Hai-Sung Kim, Luis Arias, Brandon Lau. And I got to be honest, Brandon Lau is the guy I've been voting for pretty much every day. I think Brandon Lau should be much higher than 6th. I think he should easily be in the top 2 alongside Albies, really. Bryce Terang's been great, but I think Brandon Lau's been better. I think he's been fantastic. So a little bit of an unfortunate there. At third baseman, Max Muncy, one of the 7 that have over 900K. He's at 941. It's a big gap between him and Alec Boehm, who is second at 386K. So about 600K difference there. Then you have Nolan Arenado, Austin Riley, Nick Gonzalez, Manny Machado, Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette, Matt Chapman. So a lot of vote getters there for third base. For shortstop, you've got CJ Abrams at 579K and then Mookie Betts at 567K. It's one of the closest gaps between the top 2 that we have among all All-Star votes there. Some other ones, Ellie De La Cruz, Trey Turner, Otto Lopez, who leads the league in hits and average and has been for weeks. He should be a little bit higher there. For designated hitter, you have Shohei Ohtani, who is one of the 2 million voters. He's already at 1 million. Kyle Schwarber at 820K, 820K. And then you got this big gap between Dominic Smith at 371K. Some other guys, Christian Yelich, Ivan Herrera, Casey Schmidt. So a bit of a difference there. Of course, it's going to be Ohtani. The 6 outfielders include Andy Pages at 800K, Ronald Acuna Jr. at 693, Brandon Marsh at 668, Michael Harris II at 635, Teoscar Hernandez at 507, and Jordan Walker at 437. Now, there are players in this 6 I think are worthy, such as Pages, such as Brandon Marsh, such as Jordan Walker. But there are some other guys that I think, some guys just on the outskirts even. James Wood has been excellent for the Nats. He's at 431. He's 7th. He should be in the top 6. Corbin Carroll at 425K. He should also be in the top 6. Some other guys here, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, Mauricio Dubon from the Braves, Justin Crawford, Adolis Garcia, Pete Crow Armstrong, I think should be a lot higher now that he caught on fire recently for the Cubs there. So those are what is currently in it for your NL. For the AL, this is where a lot more controversy is being had. Catchers have Shea Langeliers at the 1 and then Alejandro Kirk at the 2. In first place, Vladdy is at 1. Ben Rice is at 2. Second baseman, Ernie Clement at 1. Ezekiel Duran at 2. Third baseman, Junior Caminero, Kazuma Okamoto at 2. Shortstops have Bobby Witt Jr. and then Andres Jimenez at 2. Designated hitter has Jordan Alvarez at the 1. George Springer at the 2. And we're not going to go into the outfielders just yet because I want to talk about the Blue Jays' impact in the All-Star voting. They've got 6 players here in the top 2. How many of that 6 is deserving of it? Maybe just 2, questionably. Let's start with the most obvious, Alejandro Kirk being at 2. Listen, I think Alejandro Kirk is a top 3 catcher in baseball when healthy. The problem was he just got healthy. He's played in, 6 games all season long? Adley Rutschman in 3rd. Dylan Dingler in 4th. I think Dingler should easily be in the top 2. He's been great. Ryan Jeffers, some other vote getters there, but Kirk, that high, I mean, sure. Vladdy, he's been good. his power numbers have dropped, but has he been first? I don't know. Ben Rice has been one of the top, OPS leaders in baseball. Second, I think, to Yordan Alvarez. Murakami's been great. Nick Kurtz has been so good. He's in fourth right now. Pete Alonso, Wilson Contreras. I mean, Vladdy in the top two, you can make a case for, but to be lower than Ben Rice, to be lower than Nick Kurtz, I'm not sure if he, should be. Second baseman is the only one that doesn't have a problem. I mean, Ernie Clement is one of the 7 that have over 900K votes. He's at 904. He has one of the biggest gaps between first and second. Ezekiel Duran comes in at 287K, so a bit of a 700 gap difference there. Then you have Travis Bazzana, Jose Altuve, Josh Chisholm, etc. For third base, Junior Camanero's at 625K. Kazuma is at 556. But I think Miguel Vargas, who's at third, has been better than Okamoto. Okamoto has definitely been great. Josh Young has been very good. Jose Ramirez, of course, with his injury, doesn't matter, but he's there as well. So there's a case to be made there. For shortstops, Bobby Witt is cleared at 890K. Jimenez is at 357. And Jimenez has been good, but you've got some young kids here who have been better. Kevin McGonigal from the Tigers. Colson Montgomery needs to be in the All-Star game. He's been so damn good. The fact that he only has 176K votes is criminal. Jeremy Pena, Gunnar Henderson, Corey Seager, some other vote getters there. Designated hitter, I mean, Springer being second doesn't matter much because Yordan Alvarez is like Ohtani, as in the other 1 million vote getter. He's over 1 million. And Springer is just at 323K. But Yandy Diaz has been so much better than Springer, and he's in third at 267. Giancarlo Stanton, Jock Peterson. So there's definitely cases to be made there. For your outfielders, it's the position that does not have any Blue Jays there. You got Aaron Judge at 977K. You have Mike Trout, 926K. Corey Bellinger at 533K, Byron Buxton at 497, Riley Green at 422, and Julio Rodriguez at 421. Behind him is his teammate Randy Arozarena at 412. And then you have all the Blue Jays, Dalton Varsho, Jesus Sanchez, and Miles Straw rounding off the top 10 as it stands. So that is what it's currently at. I kind of like the outfielders in the AL right now. Trout, Bellinger, Buxton's been very good for Minnesota. He kind of keeps them relevant right now, but that is what the All-Star voting is talking about right now, the updating. So there's still time to vote to change the outcomes of these, the top twos here. And then, of course, we'll have that phase 2 where we vote between those two. The All-Star break happening sooner than you think. And speaking of the All-Star break, some news came out about the Home Run Derby that kind of has me very excited. Major League Baseball is doing away with the timer this year. Since 2015, they went to this format where it was a timer. You had 4 minutes, then 3 minutes, and then so forth and so forth. Before 2015, the Home Run Derby was by swings. You only had a limited amount of swings, a limited amount of balls. And at that point, whoever is the best moves on. They are bringing that back. So there's no more timer and no more outs. In round 1, players will have 20 swings to hit as many home runs as they can. Then in round 2, you'll have 15 swings to get as many as you can. Then in the finals, it is again 15 swings. Each swing counts towards a player's allotment, not homer, basically. So basically the way it works is you get 20 swings. Let's say you hit 10 home runs, you are now at 10. However, there is one little caveat to this. If you homer on your last swing in any round, you keep going until you do not homer. So if here is your 20th swing and you hit a home run, you get a 21st. You hit a home run, you get a 22nd, and so forth and so forth and so forth. There is no bonus rounds. There's no, you get 2 home runs over 440 feet, you get an extra 30 seconds, and there is no bracket. So all 8 players will go in the first round. They will get their 20 swings, and the top 4 will move on into round 2. Tiebreakers will be settled down on home run distance in round 1. So if you end up in a 5-way tie with guys who hit 11 home runs, it will be the home run distance that measures the tiebreaker, and then the swing off will come in rounds 2 and 3. So if there's a tie between the actual matchup, I'm not sure if there's a bracket in the second round, like if it's gonna be like, okay, whoever hit the most is in the 1 seed, whoever hit the second most is the 2 seed, 3 seed, and 4 seed, and then you're just basically being 2 versus 3, 1 versus 4. I think that's the plan. I don't think it's gonna be like, okay, in round 2, the top 2 will do it. I think you just have to beat the other person at that point. I love this change. I like it a lot. I think it's really cool. There definitely has some like downside to it, and of course, that means not as many home runs being hit. I mean, you could easily say like, with the last, swing being unlimited, basically, as long as you keep homering, you could still have a position where, hey, a player hits 40 home runs in a round if they just keep going back to back to back in that last swing. But with the 4-minute timer, you ended up with like such high numbers. You think back to Vlad and Peterson in 2019, that still goes down one of my favorite home run derby moments. But like, Vlad had records, and guys can set records with home runs hit in a single derby. That's hard to do so now, where if you are, 20 swings, 15 swings, and then 15 swings, the most swings you have technically is 50 home runs tops. The records are now in the 90s. So like, yeah, you have 50 swings total in the derby, then you have to still hit 40 more without missing a beat, So it's definitely less taxing for the players, which I think is what their goal was in this change, going back to it. Because some players complain that it's heavy, it's a lot to go through. 4 minutes, bang, 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 you get your timeout. I'm not sure if there's still going to be a timeout because again, it's 20 swings, right? So you might see pitches that you don't want to swing at. Either way, it's going to be very different. Well, not very different, but it is different than last year. So it's going to be more on efficiency rather than a player's stamina. And like, again, like, we don't know if this makes the derby longer because, like, will a player go up there and be able to just watch 30 pitches go by before actually swinging at one? So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how it changed. But again, most of those records in the last couple years seems to be untouchable. Yeah, Vladdy in 2019 had 91 home runs. Julio Rodriguez, a single record round with 41. It seems like those records will never be touched. Like, that seems impossible. That means you'll have, for Julio's single record to be touched at 41 home runs, that means you're going to have to hit 20 home runs in a row at the end there. But again, it seems like it's going to be better overall, just not, being able to break any more records here. But I'm excited for the changes that are coming for the Home Run Derby, and I hope you guys are as well. But moving on here, let's talk about the Pirates, as they have made a trade. We are going to talk about Joey Bart, as the Pirates have traded him over to the Atlanta Braves in exchange for Hunter Stratton, which, I mean, the Pirates kind of had this, like, log jam kind of at the position there. But Bart has not lived up to the expectations. He was drafted second overall back with the Giants. They traded him to the Pirates. He's been here ever since, and he's put up okay numbers with the Pirates. But again, for a number 2 round prospect, number 2 round draft pick, you think that Joey Bart would have had a higher ceiling, and that just never seemed to be the case. So far this year, he's only have 2 home runs and 15 hits in 58 at-bats, basically. It's just been tough for the career of Joey Bart. I mean, you think about it, he debuted in 2020. That was the COVID year, and put up okay numbers. But again, since then, it's been kind of downfall. When the Giants first traded him to the Pirates, that was in 2024, he broke out. He had the year that we kind of were waiting for and expecting. He had a career 2.2 WAR. He played in 80 games. He had a 265 batting average, a career high 13 home runs, a career high OPS of 799. He was just 1 point off of 800 OPS. But every other year in his career, his OPS has been below 700. So that 2024 season really seems like an outlier for Joey Bart. Last year, 93 games, he had 71 hits, a career high from there, a career high in doubles at 12. He had a 249 batting average and a 696 OPS, but this year has just not gone off to the right start. In his 7-year career between the Giants and Pirates, a 3.4 WAR. He's got 253 hits, 30 home runs, a 688 OPS. And again, I mean, okay numbers for like a backup platoon catcher, and like that will get you by, as a catcher. But for someone who was the number 2 pick in a draft, it is definitely a bust for Joey Bart. And I mean, 7 years isn't nothing. That's a decent sample size. He's been around since COVID. I mean, this is the 7th year of his career. If you have 1 or 2 tough years and then the rest are okay, you can make a case for not a bust here. But 7 years is a strong sample size to safely say that, hey, you know what, Joey Bart, it just doesn't seem to be working out. Pirates are going to ship him off of the Braves. Maybe they'll be able to figure something out, tap into something, but who knows. In exchange, they were receiving Hunter Stratton, who came up with the Pirates back in 2023. That is when he debuted as a pitcher, played in 8 games, 12 innings to a 2.25 ERA. Then in 2025, they traded him to Atlanta. And he's been okay. And then this year, he's been mostly in the minors, got called up for 1 game where he went 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, and is back to Pittsburgh now. He's been shipped back. His most games came in 2024 with Pittsburgh. He got into 36 games, 37.2 innings with 15 earned runs. He had a 3.58 ERA. Across his career as a whole since 2023, he's been in 4 years, 60 games, 69.2 innings, giving up 29 earned runs, striking out 60. So a bullpen piece that hasn't been used a whole lot in the major leagues, but when he is used, seems to do a pretty all right job of that. I mean, in 2025 with the Pirates, he had 2 innings pitched basically and gave up 7 earned runs. Definitely an outlier in his career. You take away those 2 innings, and I mean, he's a pretty sharp reliever. So hopefully he gets the opportunity. He's going to be, I think, he's 29 this year. But yeah, looks like he's a solid bullpen piece there, and he's heading back to the Pirates. Probably going to be in the AAA system for now, but Pirates will probably bring him up at some point and use him when they need to. So that is that. Let's give a little love quickly to Pete Crow Armstrong. PCA hit for the cycle on Monday. He did it in reverse order, homering in the first inning, that leadoff home run. He's been doing that a lot recently. Then he picked up the triple, followed by the double, and then finished it off with a single. What was funny, though, is that right after he got that single, he was picked off at first base. That is how you finish a night in hilarious fashion. Gets the cycle and then gets picked off. It's the 13th cycle in Cubs franchise history, and it's the first cycle since July of last year with Byron Buxton. There was only 2 cycles last year, one of which being Carson Kelly. What a name there. Carson Kelly and Buxton. And then Pete Crow Armstrong. Those are the last 3 to have hit for the cycle. It seems like something that PCA might be able to do a few times in his career. He's got the speed, he's got the power, and he plays in a field where triples will come, So Pico Armstrong, congrats to him. A little bit of a rare feat there, so good for PCA. And the last bit of baseball news to touch upon goes back into last weekend between Baltimore and the Padres. MLB suspended Ron Marinaccio for 3 games for intentionally hitting Gunnar Henderson. Now, this is something that went down over the weekend, last weekend. But I didn't think it was kind of that newsworthy because nothing had really come out about it. What happened, I believe it was on the last game, all on the Sunday, but Xander Bogaerts was hit in the head with a pitch. It was off the helmet. I believe he was fine. I believe he stayed in the game, but of course you get shaken up. Then at one point, the Padres pitchers, next time Gunnar was up to bat, threw inside on him, I think 2 or 3 times, but all of which just narrowly missing Gunnar. Then when he came up in the 9th, it was Ron Marinaccio who was on the bump, and then he drilled him pretty right away there. So You tried twice in the first at bat, didn't get it. Came up in the last at bat, you got him right on the back there in the ribs area, and he took his base. Benches didn't clear. It kind of seemed, as the manager for Baltimore kind of said, it was kind of old school baseball. He had nothing. He said he had no issue with how the Padres want to retaliate. It's old school baseball, which is a correct statement. But as a player, you want your manager to have your back by saying like, yeah, we got your guy, even if it was by accident. But you hit him in the head by accident, and it's like, okay, you want to get our guy, like it makes sense. Yeah, maybe back then, I don't know if I felt the same way. I agree with MLB's decision to suspend Marinaccio. Like again, I have no leeway for pitchers that intentionally go after hitters. I mean, like, unless the hitter does something diabolical, like they're like, I don't want to say that there isn't an exception, but like, it kind of felt weird to do it. And again, if you're gonna hit him on the first pitch. You start throwing him inside, inside, inside. You're barely missing, barely missing. And like these pitches aren't close. Like the intention here from the Padres. Um, Once you miss the first one, you move on. Like you had your opportunity, you missed it. Continue the game. Instead, they go at him again and again and again, and eventually they get him. But the suspension is given out, and I think it is warranted. So that is the news there. There was no appeal or anything that I saw, so took it in stride. It's been over with anyways for now, so we move on, but I thought it was worthy to mention here. Let's take a look at the injury updates from the week here. We have an update on Jose Ramirez, who landed on the 10-day IL over the weekend. He is now expected to miss 5 to 7 weeks. It is so unfortunate because with Judge down for a massive chunk of time, you would think Jose Ramirez would finally have a chance to win an MVP award, and now he also goes down. So that AL MVP could be wide open. We'll have to see. Max Scherzer lands on the 15-day IL once again with back spasms. This guy makes a start, gets on the 15-day IL. Oh my God. Scherzer, man, you're up there. Father Time, just take him. As much as I would love to see Max Scherzer pitch, man, I have, but damn. Brad Keller on the 15-day IL with forearm tendonitis. The Guardians losing out on a couple guys. He has Chase the Louder on the 10-day IL with a fractured rib. Angel Martinez on the 10-day IL with a fractured foot. Then you got Grayson Rodriguez, 15-day IL with lower back inflammation. Gleyber Torres on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique. Daniel Palencia on the 15-day IL with elbow inflammation. And this one sucks to say, Mike Trout on the 10-day IL with a strained hamstring. The benefit is Mike Trout says he does feel fine. This isn't going to be a long-term stint. Hopefully should just be the 10, maybe 11 days tops. So max 2 weeks basically for Mike Trout, hopefully. But he homered twice before landing on the 10-day IL. He's been looking good all season long. So hopefully it's nothing too long here. And then another thing to note, yesterday on Thursday, both shortstops Trey Turner and Bobby Witt Jr. in their different games left with apparent injuries, which would suck for both of these guys if any of them landed on the IL. But if Bobby Witt lands on the IL, I mean, you ask any baseball player at the start of the season who are the favorites for the AL MVP, people would give you 3 answers: Aaron Judge, Jose Ramirez, and Bobby Witt Jr. And if now Bobby Witt lands on the IL, and let's say it's a long stint as well, now you have Judge, Ramirez, and Bobby Witt, the top 3 favorites, all on the IL. Like I said, who's going to win it? Nick Kurtz? Byron Buxton? Like, there are some options here for a player to step up and take an AL MVP that, doesn't seem to get handed away lightly these days. So we'll have to see if those 2 land on the IL. For now, no stint has been given out. We'll move on now. Outstanding performances from the week. You've got Dustin May leading the charge. A complete game shutout. 9 innings, only 1 hit. No runs, a walk, and 9 Ks. Just utter dominance against the Padres. Zach Wheeler, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 9 Ks. Framber Valdez against his former team in the Astros goes 6 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 6 Ks. Logan Gilbert was great, 7 innings, 2 hits, only 1 run, 1 walk, and 10 strikeouts. Jesus Luzardo, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks. Foster Griffin continuing to break out in a big way. I'm starting to love this guy. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, walks, 6 Ks. Andre Palante, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 6 Ks. Reed Detmers, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 Ks. Drew Rasmussen, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 7 Ks. Justin Wroblewski from the Dodgers, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 5 Ks. Peter Lambert from the Astros goes 7 innings, 2 hits, a run, no walks, 5 Ks. How about Kyle Bradish here? Unbelievable start, going 7 2/3, getting 5 hits, a run, 2 walks, while striking out 12. The high of the week. Big numbers there. Nolan McLean from the Mets, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 9 Ks. Eduardo Rodriguez, 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 5 Ks. Sean Burke from the White Sox cleaned up against the Yankees, 7 1/3, 5 hits, a run, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. And lastly, Brian Wu from the Mariners, 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, a walk, and 9 Ks. Plenty of outstanding performances here as we look ahead to our stats leaderboard going into the news here, the changes. Otto Lopez still leads in average at 336 now. It's dropped a little bit. He's just 2 hits away from 100 as well, as he leads that still now at 98. Kyle Schwarber is at 25 home runs, but there are some guys hot on his trail. Andy Pages no longer leads in RBIs. It's now a tie between Nick Kurtz and Jordan Walker. Both of them 57 RBIs on the season. James Wood continues to score and score. He now has 68 runs on the season. Nick Kurtz with 68 of his own, except for walks. He still leads that, 68 walks. Move over Nazmin Nunez and Jose Ramirez. They've been going kind of back-to-back, band for band in stolen bases. Bobby Witt has taken over here, now up to 28 stolen bases on the year. Yordan Alvarez still leading in OPS, still 1.070 for Mr. Yordan Alvarez. Aaron Ashby back to leading the league in wins. The reliever has 10 on the year. Jacob Mrazowski's been so good. His ERA is 1.34. His strikeouts, 131. He leads in both ERA and strikeouts. And Cade Smith gets 3 saves this week, going from 21 to 24. He still leads in saves there. So a couple of small changes, a couple of not so, nothing crazy here, as the stat leaderboard stays somewhat the same here. As we'll take a look now at the upcoming series for this weekend. The Reds are in New York to take on the Yankees. The Nationals at the Trop taking on the Rays. Cardinals at the Royals. You got a little not Ohio battle, but that middle central area there. These two teams are close by. White Sox and Tigers. Guardians at Astros. Padres at Rangers. Angels at A's. Red Sox at Mariners. Giants at Marlins. Mets at Phillies. That's a fun one. These two teams hate each other. Brewers at Braves. Blue Jays at Cubs. Pirates at Rockies. Could be a fun one. Twins at D-backs. And we round it off with the Baltimore Orioles at the Los Angeles Dodgers. That is the games to be looking forward to this weekend. Of course, with FIFA still going on as well. And that brings us to our playoff predictor. If the season ended today, who's going all the way? In the AL, the Blue Jays are your 6 seed. Your Mariners are your 3 seed. Guardians, the 5 seed, going up against the Rays in the 4 seed. The Mariners get the upset, beat the Blue Jays. Not the upset, but they get the revenge to beat the Blue Jays, while the Rays handle the Guardians. So you have a Mariners, White Sox, Rays, Yankees in the ALDS. Mariners upset the White Sox. Yankees get the better of the Rays. You've got a Mariners and Yankees ALCS, and this time the Mariners handle a team from the AL East in the AL Central, in the ALCS, and they move to the World Series. On the NL side of things, your Padres are your 6 seed. Your Brewers are your 3 seed. They face each other, while the Phillies in the 5 seed go up against the Cardinals in the 4 seed. The Padres beat the Brewers. The Phillies beat the Cardinals. So your NLDS matchup. Padres at the Braves, who are the 2 seed. The Phillies at the Dodgers, who are the 1 seed. That happened this week as well. The Dodgers are back to being the best team in baseball for the first time since I think the start of April. I think mid-April, April like 16th maybe. So good stuff there from LA, who beat the Phillies, while the Padres upset the Braves. So you've got a Padres-Dodgers NLCS. This would be so good. And the Padres would upset the Dodgers in this one as well. So you have a Mariners-Padres World Series. One of these teams would become their first ever World Series champions. And this one falls the Padres' way. The San Diego Padres are your 2026 World Series champions if the season ended today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how this episode ends today. I appreciate you all. Big episode, lots going on. All-star voting still going down. Vote for your favorites, but also vote for some guys that you think are deserving as well, because it does play a factor, I guess. Who knows? Regardless, thank you everybody so much, and I will see you on Monday.